Okay, so have you ever wondered if living together before marriage actually, like, helps or hurts a relationship?
Oh, for sure. It's a question I get a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's something a lot of people are curious about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, does sharing a bathroom really prepare you for the ups and downs of marriage?
Right, right.
We're going to do a deep dive into it today, look at the research and opinions from experts,
Sounds good, yeah.
see if we can get some answers.
Let's get into it.
So first off, I guess, like, what even is cohabitation? Just to, like, be clear.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, basically it just means two people in a romantic relationship are living together, but they're not married, right?
Right. Makes sense.
And, it's really interesting how this whole concept has gone from being, kind of taboo to
Yeah.
being almost like a standard step.
Yeah, it's like a rite of passage or something, right?
Exact right.
Okay, so, like, is it a good step, though? What does the research say about that?
Well, there's actually some really interesting studies out there. Like, there's one in the Journal of Marriage and Family that tracked couples over like 10 years.
Wow.
And they found that the ones who lived together before getting married, they actually ended up reporting higher relationship satisfaction.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, and then you've got folks like Dr. John Gottman. He's a big name in relationship research.
Right.
And his work suggests that when couples deal with all those like daily life things together,
Yeah.
it actually helps them build really strong communication skills. Like they get better at dealing with conflict, which is obviously huge.
That makes sense. I guess it's like practice for the real deal, right?
Exactly, exactly. It's one thing to impress someone on dates, but it's totally different when you're like dealing with their dirty dishes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Or like their weird sleeping habits or something.
Totally, totally. It's about navigating those like everyday realities,
Yeah.
right? Sharing finances, figuring out who does what chores, even just like how you spend your free time together, right? All of that stuff is like a little mini version of the bigger challenges that come later.
Right. So it's like a compatibility test, but with less pressure than like actually being married.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some real benefits to living together, like
For sure.
getting those skills, figuring out if you're compatible, but like,
Mhm.
what are the downsides?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a really important point. Cohabitation, it's not like a magic solution, right?
Right.
And one of the biggest potential pitfalls is complacency, right?
Okay.
It's easy to just kind of fall into this routine and start taking each other for granted, And then those important conversations like about the future, what you both want, what you need,
Yeah.
they can just get pushed aside.
Right, because you're already living together, so you figure, oh, we're good.
Exactly, exactly. But that can be dangerous.
And I feel like sometimes, even without the big conversations, like just living together, you start to see those little annoyances.
Right, for sure.
And if you don't talk about them, they just like build up.
Absolutely. It can turn into resentment, right? That's why it's so important for couples to keep that communication going,
Right.
even when things seem okay on the surface,
So like check in with each other, have those like sometimes awkward conversations.
Yeah, exactly. Set some boundaries too. It can prevent a lot of problems down the road.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So for people who are either like already cohabitating
Mm-hmm.
or thinking about it,
Yeah.
what advice do the like experts have?
Well, I was talking to a couples counselor about this, and, she really emphasized
Okay.
setting clear expectations right from the start,
Yeah.
Talk about the money stuff, who does which chores, even like how you're going to have your own space when you're sharing a place, right?
Right.
It's about respecting each other's like individuality
Yeah.
while you're building a life together,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like, what about marriage then? Does living together before affect like the whole getting married thing?
Well, you can almost think of cohabitation as like a training ground for marriage.
Okay.
You're already learning about finances, handling those responsibilities, working through disagreements. So by the time you get married, you've already tackled a lot of those practical things that can trip couples up.
Right.
So you're going into marriage with a more realistic view, I guess.
Yeah. No rose-colored glasses or anything.
Exactly, exactly. But, the research does highlight some potential challenges too.
Okay.
Some couples, they might find that the transition into marriage, it feels less significant because they've already kind of combined their lives.
Right. Because they've already been like doing the married life thing, basically.
Right. So it's important to be mindful of that and really make an effort to create, a sense of ritual and commitment around the wedding itself.
Yeah.
Like mark it as a separate special step.
So you're saying that like even though living together can prepare you in some ways, you shouldn't let it take away from the importance of the actual marriage commitment.
Exactly. At the end of the day, whether cohabitation is good or bad for a marriage really depends on the couple, you know?
Yeah.
How they approach it, how they communicate.
So there's no, like, easy answer, it sounds like.
Not really, no. But I think the real value is in the conversations it forces you to have
Yeah.
and the self-reflection, you know?
Like, you really have to think about your expectations, how you communicate, if you're truly compatible.
Exactly, exactly. And that knowledge, whether it's like, yeah, we're totally on the same page, or it's, okay, we need to work on some things,
Yeah.
that's super valuable.
So I guess the takeaway is it's not really about whether you live together or not.
Right.
It's about how you handle the whole experience.
Exactly. And I think, this deep dive, it's given us a good overview, but every couple's situation is unique.
Yeah.
So now it's time to take what we've talked about
Yeah.
and have those important conversations with your partner.
Talk it out. Figure out what works for you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for breaking all that down for us.
Of course. Happy to do it.
I know I learned a lot. And for everyone listening, don't forget that sometimes those tough conversations are the most valuable ones. So go out there and start talking.
Yes, definitely. Communication is key.
Always.